Hello guys, in this video we are going to be learn PowerShell variables. So let's try to understand variables. So now you can see on my screen there are 4 boxes. In 2 boxes having a mobile and 2 boxes having a charger. So how you will be identify in which having a mobile and in which having a charger. There is no way to identify in which having a mobile without open this box and looking inside to this box. You can't be tell in which having a mobile. If you attach label to each box, so through that you can identify in which having a mobile and in which having a charger. Let's attach the label to this box. So we have attached the label to each box to identify in which having a mobile and in which having a charger, right? So this label name we called as a variable. This one name is also variable and this one is also variable and this one is also variable name. And whatever you have put it into this box, we call that is a information. Whatever object you have put it into this box, we call that is a value or information. Whatever label you will be attached to the box, that is a variable, and whatever you have put inside this box, that is an information. And information could be a different kind of an information, right? So which kind of an information you can store into a variable? So you can store into a variable a string, you can store, and you can store number in a variable, and you can store also Boolean information, and you can also store in a variable objects. So these kind of and basic data types you can store into a variable. So in a string there could be a character A, B, C, D, etc., or word, sentence, and paragraph that must be enclosed in a single inverted comma or double inverted comma. So this is the identification of an string that you can store in a variable. In a number, there could be a 1, 2, 3, etc., any number. So that could be a float number or integer number that you can store in a variable. And Boolean having only 2 values, 2 information that you can store in a variable, that is a true and false. And if I talk about the object, so object could be anything like any physical identity, right? Pen, computer, glass. So this kind of an information you can store in a variable. What is the variable and how it will work? So conclusion of this story is that so variable is used to store the information, and this information could be a different kind, right? A string, number, Boolean, and object, etc. And you can also store array and dictionary, means hash table. What is variables? So variable is used to store information, and there is a one identification. You have to be use a variable start with prefix $, and there are 2 types of variables. first one is a built-in variable, and second is a user defined, and user defined variables having also two types of variable, local variable and global variable. Global variable. So these are some basic concept of a variable. What is the variable and why we use variable? So let's see first one, built-in variables. Now we have opened PowerShell ISE, PowerShell built-in variables, or we can say it's an automatic variable. So as you know, variable store some information, right? Information could be like a number, a string, and every variable is start with $. So we have to be understand first one variable. Which one? $PSVersionTable. So this is the name. Now you can see here variable is starting with $, and this is the name, and this variable stores some information in the form of a PowerShell object, right? So it will give the version of your PowerShell, which version you are using of PowerShell currently, and table. So why this is named tables? It will display the output in the form of a table, and if you are seeing this PS stands for like a PowerShell, so it's related to PowerShell. If you are seeing any variable which is related to PowerShell, that should be a prefix PS, right? So let's run it. This one, select and run it. Now you can see it is giving the output in the form of a table. So it's an object, PowerShell object, which we are using. And we have another variable. We have a second variable. Second variable having a $home, right? So when you run this, it will contain some information. Let's see. Now you can see it is giving the path, and it having a string information. So what is this path? So this path having a user directory, or you can say as name it's suggesting home. So it's an user home directory in which current users work, right? And we have another variable, pwd. When I select this one and run this, now you can see this one is also giving the path in the form of a PowerShell object. Now you just have to look this information. So what is this information? You can match exact same information here. Full name of this acronym. So it's also suggesting like a present working directory. So it means having your current working directory in which you are working, right? So this will give the path or location in which you are working. This will also give path, and this will also give the path. But here it will give the home directory of user, and here it will give the working directory of user, right? In which you are working currently. And if you here change the directory, so it will also display different directory. And we have another variable that we have to be understand, $PS home. If I run this one, what happened? Now you can see it is also giving the path, right? Location. So what is this location? This one location having a PowerShell installation directory, or you can say folder, right? So in which your PowerShell has installed. So that is the location in which you have store this PowerShell. So this $ps home, it will give the PowerShell home directory in which you have stored the PowerShell. And we have another built-in variable that we have to be understand. PSScriptRoot. Now you can see when you run this one script built-in variable, so what happens? So it is nothing written. So when this will be work, this will work only. There is a condition when you save your file, then it will return full path of in which you have saved file. So this is not working right now because I have not saved this file, right? So to see the impact of this variable, what I will do, I will create one more file, and here I will use that one, $ps script root. And if I save this one, test, save it, and let's run this one. Now this time it is giving the path because I have saved this file in this folder, AWS folder, right? So therefore it is giving this location of your folder. This is also frequently used variable in a scripting, and we have a Boolean variables. So what are that Boolean variables? $true will store the true word, and $false store the false when you select and run it. Now you can see it is giving the true and false value, right? So these are the Boolean variable. And we have a $null. So $null is like a empty, it will not contain any information, empty box. If you are considering like a variable is like a box in which having some information, but that box having an empty, right? So you just run it. And we have a also $error. So this error variable return the collection of an error of your script file, all the error which we has occurred in your script file, that will store in this variable. And if you want to be access the latest, so you know that you can access the latest one using a 0 index. So this will return always the latest error, last one error, right? Let's run it and you will see that. Now you can see this one giving this type an error. And if you want to see the all error, you just have to use and run this one. Now you can see there are a lot of errors returning, right? So this variable is also frequently used variable in a scripting. And we have a $args. How this will be work? $args variable is used when you are going to be run your scripting through command prompt or PowerShell CLI interface. So in that case, you have not declare some variable, and you are going to be pass that variable on a command line, so you can access that variable in your scripting using this $args. So how you can use this one? So I have saved this one and I want to be access that information. How I can access like $args? I'm going to be print this one. So I will print only that information. Whatever I will pass dynamically while running this script, we have saved this file in this location, right? So let's me copy this path and I will run this through PowerShell CLI interface here. So what I will do here and use here test and now run this. Now it is not returning anything. If I pass here some variable like 2 3, so what happened? Now it is returning same variable. And if I run here like a hello as well, so what happened? It is returning both. And if I use like a 0 index, it will contain as a array form if you are passing more than 1. Let's run it. Now you can see it is returning only first position value, and if you put here 1, so it will return only second position value. And if you pass another parameter which are not declared here, so we have not declared, and if you want to access that one only, so that is the position 2, right? Let's save this one and let's run it. Now you can see it is returning that one. So how you can use this $args, you must have to be understand this one. So we have understood about the args variable, so we have to be understand here environment variable. So how you can access the environment variable? So every environment variable start with $env:. So this is the main thing. Then you have to put the another name of your environment variable. For example, $env and colon. Then you have to be put your environment variable name. Like if you want to be get the home directory, as it's suggesting home directory, home path, temp, username, computer name, OS, and processor architecture, number of processor. So these are the mandatory and these are the frequently used environment variable. There you will find the same variable in each computer and server, right? So these are the common parameter that you can use and that you can find. If you put here home drive, home path, you can use anything. Let's run this, and this is the syntax $env:, then your environment variable name. Let's run this one and you will get the information. Now you can see it is giving the also user home directory. It's like a similar to $home, right? Same information you are getting using a environment variable. And if you want to get the environment variable different, like a temp, you have a two form $env:, and you have another form TMP. So you can use anyone. They have only two forms. Let's use this one and run it. So it is giving this one, and if you use $env temp, so what happened? It will also give the same information, right? Path location of your temp folder. And we have another environment variable that is a computer name, and computer name you can also get dynamically. So if you have 1,000 servers, so you want to be get the computer name only, so you can get like that. And if you want to be get the username, which one is a login, so you can use environment variable so that you can get that information. You want to be see the your processor number of processor and what is architecture of your processor, is that a 64-bit or 32-bit, so you can get that information as well. $env:, you have a number of processor, so just select this one and run this. Now you can see I have 8 number of processor. If you want to see the architecture, so you can get that information as well. Architecture, processor architecture, just run this one and you can see AMD 64. This is the processor architecture.